this person in this email I got makes $50,000 a year, has $80,000 saved up, and houses are about $350,000 to $400,000. They're asking me, can I really afford a house right now? And in today's video, we're going to answer this with very specific details because I have a feeling that maybe you're in a very similar situation. Hey Javier, I hope you're doing great. I've been saving for a house, but I'm having a bit of a tough time because the prices are higher in this area than what I think I can comfortably afford. Here's a quick look. I've saved up about 80K. It was partially saved up, but I did receive a good fund of money due to something that happened in my family. I make about $55,000 a year, so I take home about roughly $3,200 a month after taxes and everything. House prices in this area are about $350,000 to $400,000, and given all this, buying a home seems a bit tricky. I thought about places that might be cheaper, but I'm not sure if I want to do that drive or I want to actually leave here. So could I get some advice from you? A, can I really afford a house right now? B, are there any loan options or down payment assistance programs that can help me get there? C, should I wait or maybe look in different areas? Or 4, is there just any general tips you have for me? I'm getting all kinds of different advice from my family members, my agent, and my lender, so your thoughts would mean a lot to me. Thank you so much and keep making videos. Oh, I appreciate you. First and foremost, thank you. So let's get into it. The current situation this person has is they have an annual income, well, let's just say about $50,000. So their gross monthly income approximately is $44,166.66. And they told me they take home about $3,200 a month. So their net income is approximately $3,200. So the interesting part is they have $80,000 saved up, which I would say a lot of agents and lenders see that and they just start salivating, right? If you actually are very diligent and you've been able to save a good amount of money, you have to be extra careful. So they've saved up $80,000 and their house prices in the area that they like where they live is between $350,000 to $400,000. Let's answer the first question of can they really afford a house right now in their specific area? The first piece of advice I have for you is get some local market knowledge. Like get an idea of, I'm not just talking about your specific city. Look into your zip code, look into the neighborhoods you like, and get a good idea of the price trends. Is it going up? Is it staying about the same? Is it going down? Are there more houses selling or than listings, or are there more listings than there are houses selling? And yes, you might have to talk to an agent, but if you set the standards up front saying, hey, I'm just getting to know the situation. I'm not looking to buy right away. I'm looking for someone to partner up with me so you can help me with some data because you have access to data. As long as you're not pushing, you give me the information I need, I think we make a great relationship. So be upfront, get this data, and really get a good idea if your market is going up or down. This is just really good to know before we start talking about affordability, because you'll know if you can't afford right now, then you'll know if you're going to have to either look into other areas or just be patient and wait 6 months while the prices drop. So right now, if you go talk to a lender, what they're going to do is they're going to get your monthly gross income, which I think we said was like what, 4166. And what they're going to do is they're going to use this number to find out what mortgage payment you qualify for. Now, it looks like here, according to your email, which I didn't read this part, you have a pretty clean credit history. You've done a lot of work on that. You have no debts or anything like that, which is amazing. And that's why you have really a great credit score. So this makes it very easy to determine what you qualify for. Usually, depending on the loan program, it can be from 43 to 56% of your gross monthly income. But in this case, let's just use 50%. So we get 50% of 4166 and we get about 2083. So that would be the amount that you qualify for. But to find out for what you comfortably can afford, here's what we do. There are many schools of thought of what you should be able to comfortably afford. I like to use basically a good rule of thumb of 25 to about 30%, depending on your current situation. So if we were to use 25% of your net income, which is about $3,200, that would equal about $800. Now, if we get 30% of $3,200, that would equal $960. So let's get right into it. No, you can't comfortably afford a house right now in this specific area that you're looking in. $960 is a mortgage payment I frankly haven't seen in a very long time. I remember the first house I had, I bought for like $85,000 way long ago. Interest rate was like 4%. And that was like a $600 monthly payment. And that was $80,000. $120,000, $140,000 maybe might get you to under $1,000. So, I mean, unless you're buying like a manufactured home or a trailer or a very small condo, it doesn't seem in the specific area it's likely. Let's just get that out of the way now. Now, yes, you are putting a massive down payment and that might make you feel good, but let's actually run the numbers to see if that will help. So if we were to get $350,000, we do 20%. That would equal about 70,000. I don't know if you didn't specify if you only have $80,000. I'm hoping you have a separate emergency fund, because if you watch any of my other videos, then you know that your first step before you have your house funds is to save up your own emergency and general funds, right? So I'm hoping that's the case with you. So anywho, yeah, you can put 20% down, which is great because you can eliminate the PMI. You're usually going to get a better rate. So this might be like, I don't know, 7.5. And we'll leave like the property taxes, like, I don't know, 150, 66. We'll leave everything kind of very bare. That monthly payment is still $21.73, so very close to what you can qualify for. But technically, if we use 25 to 30% of your net, not even close. You would have to be buying like $150,000 around there to accomplish that. So let's save a lot of time and energy from not only you, but the audience watching this, and let's just get it out of the way. You cannot afford a house right now. You can maybe qualify for one if you really squeeze it, if you find something like 320, 315 and really make it work, but you can't afford right now. And this is a really crappy situation because honestly, this is a boat that a lot of people are finding themselves in. If you are a person and you're the only person working in your household and you're making 50K, traditionally, that is not bad. That's pretty good, actually. That is like a starting salary for a lot of careers. But right now, the way this country is set up, it's just not feasible for home ownership. If rates were to drop massively and we're like at 4%, then maybe we can like squeeze it to 300, and then but that's still like doubling it. Like maybe you're going to be like 35 to 40% of your net income. You're quite not there. I'm getting the sense that you're still in the development stage of your career. Like you're still working and you're kind of leveling up and you're rising up the ranks, right? So I understand if maybe you're really like gung-ho about going to buy a house right now, but you're not quite there yet. I would work on that annual income. And the best hope for you is that as you're working on your annual income, the rates drop, the prices drop, and it's going to set you up in a perfect position where you can maybe get into something. Now, you asked me if there's any down payment assistance programs that are out there, and this is a common question a lot of people have. The reality is, yeah, there's a lot of down payment assistance programs out there, and you'll find a lot of agents marketing, hey, DPA, 0% down or 1% down or whatever. I think at this point, I'm pretty comfortable saying they had a good use when prices were still low, rates were low, and in the 2010s, we were trying to build up that buyer confidence again. But what's interesting is, and I talked about this in my previous video as well, if you look at a chart where you're looking at the housing, the median value in the last 20, 30 years, a thing that a lot of people don't talk about is all this effort of down payment assistance and among other things, it wasn't that great for our market. It actually created a very alarming little bubble here. Like we can kind of see here starting in 2011, it started kind of rising, and it started kind of balancing out. It's kind of hard to see it with the median sales price. If you look here between, the housing boom that, that happened, the housing, recession or whatever, what's the term that we use for it now? The subprime mortgage crisis. Yeah, that's it. We can see here that there was like a slight bubble here and a slight bubble down. So when you look at it, a chart, it's not that massive, but you can see that bubble that was forming here as well. And I think it was a lot of, DPA programs, a lot of first-time home buyers, and it's really created a mindset that's still around today of like, well, if I can't buy a house, the government's going to help me, or this programs are going to use me to help me become a first-time home buyer. Yes, they're out there, but even if interest rates were lower, even if prices were lower, I believe we have to probably build a little bit of a stronger mindset and at least save up the down payment of 3 to 3.5% or even 3%. Down payment assistance might work if we're in a recovering market again, but right now, if you don't have the ability to, within a year or two, save 3 to 5%, then you might not have the ability to pay a monthly payment for a house for 10, 20 years. It is in my opinion that, well, obviously one, the down payment isn't really the issue here, but two, it's probably something you should avoid at all costs. There's very rare exceptions where it might happen. It's a great thing to consider, but there's no true advantage of being a first-time home buyer. Like there's no first-time home buyer down payment assistance programs or anything like that. Yes, they have a specific clause on there that says you have to be first-time home buyer, you have to be, you don't have to have a home at the time you use it, but really they're used more as a marketing term, down payment assistance, first-time home buyer program. Try not to fall into that. You don't need the higher interest rate. You don't need anything like that. I think you should instead focus on other things like building that savings even more. Continue to rise up in your company as markets is kind of shifting and adjusting and stuff like that. And the last two, you said, should I wait or maybe look in a different area, or just my general tips? I'll kind of combine them just for anyone out there who are looking for general tips here. Having a clear understanding of your local market area is absolutely key. It's actually one of my Javier Vidana's triangle of homeownership success or something. There it is right there. Local market knowledge is really going to make you help your decision. If you're in a market that for some reason is still going up in value, even with everything going on, then you need to seriously consider, I know you don't want to, but seriously consider finding real estate somewhere else, or maybe going into outskirts area or getting a remote job and moving. Like, you're in a situation where you're hoping for something to change that's not changing in the direction that you wanted to. It's like you're on the sidelines while the love of your life is engaged and married, getting married with their, with their love of the life. Are you just going to really just sit and just wish the worst for them? No. Clearly they're happy, clearly they're blossoming, move on, right? So if you're in a situation like that, then you need to start exploring different areas. And this sucks. I know this is terrible. I hate to be the bearer of bad news here, but this is the hand we were all dealt. It's a very crappy hand. I hate it, and there's a lot of reasons why we're here, but this is where we are. And at the end of the day, despite it being difficult, you should still at least attempt in the next 5 to 10 years to get yourself in a position where you're going to be in a long-term homeownership situation. If you're in a situation where the market is, or your specific local market is flatlining or going down, then it's a matter of being patient. Because if it's flatlining, then that's usually indicative of, hey, houses are kind of staying firm. So they're probably going to be a collection of listings soon, and listings are going to start going higher. Buyers are not going to be buying them, and they're going to start reducing eventually. Or if they're going down, then that's already happening. And hopefully that is going to reduce the prices enough. And even if rates don't drop as much, the prices will eventually lower to the point where it makes things slightly more affordable. And while we're waiting for that to happen, we're hoping that other things happen, like your down payment increases, your job keeps making more money. Who knows? Maybe you might meet somebody and now you guys are buying a house together. There's a lot of situations that you're going to find yourself in. So by having a better understanding of your local market, I believe you can probably make a better decision based on what you should do. Now, I know this is kind of straightforward. Like, hey, you can't afford a house right now. You can maybe qualify for it if someone squeezes it. But quite frankly, this is what we need right now. And I think there is only a very small percentage of people that can comfortably afford it and buy right now. And they're taking a risk doing it. And if they are taking the risk, it's because they're in a situation where they want to go for it. Or they've done their market research and, hey, houses are still going up in their specific area they're looking in. I have someone look right now looking in the city of Tempe, and that prices are still going up there for some reason, right? So at the end of the day, you're going to make your own decision, regardless of what this YouTube video says. So just know everyone has a different opinion, including myself, but make the best decision, not for your current self. Make the best decision for yourself in 5 years or 10 years from now. Give yourself a financial audit and really determine if you can afford worst case scenario 5-10 years from now. What if you lose your job? What if something bad happens? And yeah, you're able to somehow qualify for a house you want now, and your payment's going to be like 60-70% of your net income. But what happens down the road if things just get tough? You want to make the best decision for yourself. YouTube thinks you should watch this video next, so I'll see you guys there. I look just as handsome in that one.